PKA 526. Just Taylor and I today because, well, we don't know why. Sometimes Woody just doesn't make it, you know?
He could be up to anything. Hopefully he's all right, and he's just lost in the joy of soaring through the clouds.
You know what I heard? I heard that maybe he just had gotten a new pager.
Yeah.
And
he had a pager accident?
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the Israelis did this thing recently. I think it's Hezbollah switched from cell phones to pagers because of, some security issues where the Israelis were tracking down their cell phones and murdering them all.
Yeah. And they went to Shlomo's pager emporium to buy them, apparently.
Yep. They headed over to their good buddy Shlomo, who had some cut rate deals on pagers. Not too cheap, though. You know Shlomo. He made his money.
Well, he had to make ends meet.
Yeah. And so
pager merchant.
Turns out these pagers are little bombs that the Israelis can trigger all at the same time.
We pride ourselves on the heaviest pagers on earth.
I don't know what they did to him. It's still early. Like maybe I saw someone saying, well, they probably just made them overheat. That's a stupid project. 9 people already, and it's Lebanon, I think. So I would imagine they're not counting the casualties the way that you would expect a first world nation. You're not exactly on the ball. 2,750 is what I read. Pagers went off, and 9 so far. And it's only bad guys because Hezbollah went and bought 3,000 pagers somewhere, and then was like, all right, give this to all the boys.
What if it was they were just hanging out? What if there was a men's group that like to go camping?
It was a men's group that likes to go camping in deserts and in caves in the desert where they launch their rockets from.
That's how they should start. Actually, no, I don't. Hezbollah is not Al Qaeda. They're not in caves. They've got real deal
encampments. I'm sure they got some guys in caves. Everybody does.
I guess we do too. Everybody's got
we got some dudes in caves
out there.
Sure.
I saw some people saying like, no, it doesn't. They didn't have explosives in them. They just superheated the battery and it exploded. And then I saw, and that logically didn't make sense to me. And then I saw someone being like, yeah, that's not how lithium batteries work. Like you've seen phones explode when people hit them with hammers. It tends to just like be a flare outside of a small area because it wants to burn. It doesn't want to blow up. It would have to be contained like a sparkler bomb in order for it to blow up. And so these things definitely had to have had plastic explosive inside, right?
I would think so. I would think so. If you're going to go through all that trouble, like you put some kind of pop in there, maybe some sort of fragmentary like ball bearing in there. Like you said, the heaviest pages in all of Lebanon, Shlomo's Discount Emporium.
That's wild. They flew those paramotors over, which means now for the next 50 years, Israel gets to do whatever they want every day.
Let's make it 40 years. Make it biblical.
That's, an even century.
Yeah. Or say like 44,000 days or something like that. 44,400.
I don't think they're gonna, at the rate they're going, they're not gonna need that long to have that area. Yeah, to just either have bombed everyone out of there or move their own hotels and settlements in. Or that's what it seems. The direction it seems to be going in.
I mean, it's beachfront property. Like it looks kind of nice.
Yeah, but it's got craters in it, and they're gonna have to fix it, make it look nice.
Come on, sand though. You send a couple of like
a Zamboni.
A Zamboni or a bunch of high school kids with those. You've seen what kids will do with shovels on the beach. They'll make those crazy holes and stuff. That'd be good.
I love digging holes on the beach as a kid.
I do too. Everybody likes digging holes. There's something in us that wants to find out what's down there.
Because my dad would help, and I could tell he also was enjoying building the hole. Well, building a hole. Actually, I was going to say digging a hole, but at a certain point when it becomes a big enough hole at the beach, you are building the hole because you're constantly having to like rebuild the sides.
Here's a little tidbit that came in. Iranian state media is reporting that Iran's ambassador to Lebanon, and then his name, a bunch of gobbledygook, suffered extremely serious injuries to his eyes, leaving him almost completely blind as a result of today's pager attack by Israel. What was Iran's ambassador to Lebanon doing with a Hezbollah pager?
What are you talking about? It's known. Hezbollah's like almost entirely Iran-backed.
Of course they are. But what I'm saying is like all the way to the top, that like the official ambassador had a pager.
Yeah. Hezbollah is not like Al-Qaeda. Like they're like more of a real deal military force backed by like a real country. Like, so it's, I think,
but I think we designate them as terrorists.
Yeah, no, I was just saying because I think a lot of people picture Middle East and they're like, oh, they're like those Al Qaeda guys like in a cave shooting RPGs, and it's like, no, these guys are a lot more advanced than that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
for
they're
sure.
still designated terrorists. But hey,
Woody has joined us.
I am sorry, I'm late.
You're good.
No worries.
Are you doing something fun at least?
No, this is the situation. I helped my daughter move this weekend, and I have been suffering with back pain. Even like, if you never had back pain, it was like a 2 or 3 out of 10 before I helped her move. And I know that is the key to not do anything. Right? It is on the precipice of being a 9 out of 10, like a really bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
But she had to move, so I worked through it, and as expected, here I am. So I am on like some muscle relaxants, and it wasn't just a few seconds ago. Jackie's like tapping on the door. I'm laying in bed. She's like, "You have a job, you know?" I was like, "Well, right. I'm watching YouTube shorts 15 feet from here."
You could have sent her. Yeah, we've been talking about Trump.
Big shout out to Jackie for getting you.
So I'm really sorry, but I am a little medicated, and
do you feel weird? Like, are the pills like making you feel like off or weird?
Yeah. But like, it sucks that people can't put the effects of drugs into their into words very well. But I'm just casual. I don't know. It's like I don't have a worry, but I should be worried about getting to work. And I'm very sorry I don't have a better excuse. That's
no worries.
You're all good.
We talked about a couple things.
Talked about.
I don't know if you've seen the whole Hezbollah thing.
Talked about the pager thing today, which is
that's the latest.
Oh, only a little bit. I guess they exploded or something.
This is the latest breaking stuff on the. I don't want to name names, but some people that I was just discussing this with in the Discord were like, "You don't know it was explosives. You don't know that the Israelis did that." I'm just making the most. It's clear that that's what happened.
Makes sense.
Well, here's the New York Times article, so we don't have to argue anymore. You conspiracy nut jobs. Israel. Let's see. Small amounts of explosives were implanted in beepers that Hezbollah had ordered from a Taiwanese company, according to American and other officials briefed on the operation. Israel intercepted over 3,000 pagers that were the Hezbollah terror network, put C4 in them, and then let them go out like it was the wire. Went to the source, and then Hezbollah goes, "All right, send it out to the boys. Everybody needs one. Now we can stay in touch. The network is secure." Then they detonated them all at the same time.
Simultaneously, right? That was the part that made me think this was an Israeli plant.
Yeah, definitely.
Simultaneously, 9 dead, and like right away, including guess who got blinded? But the Iranian ambassador to Lebanon. He happened to have one of these Hezbollah terror pagers in his, and he was like, "Huh, a page," and it blew up in his eyes. Because that's the other thing.
Oh my gosh! It didn't even occur to me it wouldn't go off on your hip. Like a little delay is clever.
Who holds a pager like this?
Well, that's how you read it. You know, like pagers are like, my daddy had a pager when I was 4 years old. I remember there were codes we had to like send so that he would know, like you'd send this little text thing to his pager by punching numbers into even a payphone. It's old school tech, and they put bombs in there. But yeah, when you check a pager, you pop it up and you look at it, see what's going on.
The words.
You read the words.
How long did they have them bugged before they blew them up?
They're not saying that.
That's not.
But what's also great about it is if you think about it, if it did go off on your hip, now you got this ridiculous scar on your hip. They've like everybody's got these.
Yeah, but you have eyes. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, we catch you later. If we catch you later and we suspect, like, we find you somewhere you shouldn't be, but you seem innocent. Like, yeah, you've also got a pager scar on your hip, bro. How'd that happen? It's just a little bit of a way to identify them or literally brand.
I'd be interested to see how long they had it, because like one of my thoughts was had they gotten all the information they wanted out of that network? Or maybe like they didn't even bug them. I would imagine they bugged them too to know what's being said.
I don't know. You would think maybe too, maybe that too, or maybe you could even create some sort of map.
Because if you do something like this, it's just like it's almost an instant ensuring where like Hezbollah is going to go back to the drawing board on communication devices.
But
like
that's what the boys are saying. They're breaking out the smoke signals. They're getting the pigeons out, whatever it takes.
Right. People on motorcycle. There was a War Games where like an American was supposed to react like the Iranians would, or Iraqis, I forget who it was. And the Americans were very confident going into this war game, and one of the things they had was an intelligence advantage. Well, the guy didn't use like over-the-air comms at all. There were no emails, there were no radios. He just put people on motorcycles with notes zipping everywhere. And the Americans cried foul play, like, you're not supposed to war that way. And
why don't you guys use your convenient and useful Gmail?
Right? It reminds me.
It says it's a .gov. Are you crazy?
At Cisco, of course, we would ship routers all over the world, and they're kind of a central device that knows what traffic is going over them. They have to peer into the packets to know what to do with them. Anyway, they would get intercepted in the mail and become spy devices. And Cisco was, as far as I know, completely unaware that this would happen sometimes, but governments would modify their routers before they got to their destination so they could be spied on.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's a crazy operation.
This seems like the kind of thing you would know, Kyle. Like,
how much C4 it would take?
Like, is there like a marble's worth of C4 in there? So it would take more than that, obviously, to consistently kill someone, even if it's against your body.
No, that'd be so what you would want to do is have the C4 throw some metal into the person too. Like I would want the C4 to have some ball bearings or something, or a metal plate or something, so that, especially, like, I would design it honestly, because again, you're gonna hopefully the person like looks at it like that to read it. I would make it so that it's creating a shotgun effect, that you're basically looking down the barrel of a shotgun when you check the pager, and then it would go off that way. But just the C4 going off in your hip is gonna tear a chunk out of you.
I had a similar idea. Like, is there some way we can shape it, right? Like, if we made it strong, but like a pager shaped cup, then, like Kyle said, everything would come out the open end like a shotgun. If you have a firecracker flat in your palm, it doesn't do as much damage as if you put it in your fist.
Yeah, it has to be closed in, but like a plastic pager isn't gonna.
That stuff cuts that energy. It burns really fast, and it explodes really fast. And you might think everything explodes fast, but if you could see it through a high-speed camera, you'd be like, oh, that's like 20 times faster than TNT. It's so fast and so potent. Woody and I went to that thing where they were using det cord and C4 to like blow locks and do demolition on doors and stuff. And they just form a little line of it on something, and it would just cut right through whatever they put it on in a little pop.
Dude, I got caught at TSA like 4 times after that. So I have this like Pelican case full of camera gear, and the C4 that I don't know if it's I don't know my explosives like Kyle does, but there was something in a powder form. And sure enough, for like the next 3 years, every time they wiped my camera, there's explosive material on this. I'm like, well, that makes sense. I went to this thing.
That makes sense. I'm gonna blow up the plane.
It's a few things. They do those swabs, and I'm sure they're testing for. It's like an STD test. They test for like TNT, ammonium nitrate, C4. There's a couple more compounds, RDX, military grade explosive compounds, stuff like that. So it could be anything. I also did I test positive? No, but somebody whose bag had been in my trunk did. Somebody's bag had been in my trunk, tested positive. I almost got swabbed one time, and I had genuinely been handling C4. By handling, C4 is not scary. It's like Play-Doh. Like it only pops if you put a detonator in it.
What is a detonator? Is it electrical charge?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's it looks like the end of a pin. It's silver. It's metallic. It looks like about like that, about like a third of a ink pen. And it's got some wires coming out of the end, and you stick it down into your Play-Doh like C4 with the wires coming out, and you run your wires to it, not in that order. And then when you send the charge, it pops, and that explosion gets the big explosion going. Otherwise, it won't get going.
Could like a spark plug set it off? But
no, not heat. Not you can heat it up. You can melt it.
I said that because it's electrical. A spark plug, the little gap, the volt.
Well, it's just zapping it with heat, though. In the end, that's what a spark plug's doing. It's just a little bit of burniness. You could run electricity straight to C4. It wouldn't do anything.
I think I'm not understanding it. Oh, what is it?
I'm not either.
What is a detonator? It's an explosive. It's in its own right. If you were a detonator would blow your hand off. You have to be careful handling detonators. it's the initial charge. It's the first pop that gets the bigger pop going.
I see. So it just makes a small, like tannerite works in a similar way. You have to hit it hard, and then it blows up.
Sort of. It's just that you need a detonator is a smaller explosive that gets the bigger explosive going, because that's the only way to set off C4.
I will repeat myself until you get it. I'm like, Kyle, I'm not sure I'm gonna.
Kyle, I'm high. Like, I'm on
inside the metal casing of a detonator are chemical compounds that are reactive to electricity. So when we send that hotness in there, it gets going and boom, it explodes. And it's a much smaller boom. Like if I set one off in your yard, you think it was a firecracker, maybe 22, little pop. But when it's inside, say, a baseball-sized bit of C4 that you form with your hands, it's just like Play-Doh. Then you have a C4 bomb. You see it all the time in the movies. They're sticking that detonator.
If a small explosion makes C4 create a bigger explosion, could you shoot C4 to get it to blow?
No, because that's not enough energy is being created by the bullet hitting the C4. The detonator is a lot of energy in a very small pop. It's all at once. Kind of hard to explain, but it's an explosion versus the bullet hitting something. It just doesn't work that way. You can't shoot C4 and set it off. Can't hit it and set it off. Can't heat it up and set it off. Only a primary explosion will do it, as far as I know. There's other compounds that are easier to set off that would do something like that. Det cord is heat sensitive. Det cord's rope that comes in various sizes, basically. So some of it looks like string, and some of it looks like the ropes you would see on a naval vessel. And that's how they charge it. And it's got an explosive on the inside. I don't know what the explosive is. It might be RDX or something like that. But on the inside of that det cord is an explosive. So you can wrap that around a telephone pole, for example, like 2 wraps around, and then have it go to the next pole, 2 wraps around, or a bridge. You're taking a bridge out, like each support leg. You could wrap it around once, go to the next one, wrap it around, next one, wrap it around. And when it goes off, it's essentially, it burns so fast. It's like it's like a mile a second.
Than the speed of sound?
So much faster than the speed of sound.
Yeah,
like way
used
faster.
To be a lot of YouTube videos that would show det cord, and if you film it with the right slow-mo, you can see the explosion travel through the cord. People do cool stuff like write Merry Christmas, and you could see it like go cool. And I was like, just like how fast it feels like they're filming electricity. It's so fast.
I would guess like 5,000 feet per second or something like that. So if you had a 5,000 foot long piece of det cord and you lit one end in 1 second, the other end would also explode. It would essentially be like one big explosion, just pa.
Basically a mile.
But I'm guessing at the speed. I went to a class one time where this was all on a chalkboard and we were discussing it. And this burns at this speed and this does at that speed. And then we went in the field and did all that stuff.
That's a fun class.
I paid for it. It was just like when I say I went to a class, I paid an explosives expert to go hang out at his place and learn explosives for a week.
Well, that's class in a way. That's private tutoring.
He did that for a living. He provided classes for government and military. So it was very educational. And went to his farm in Texas, and he had plenty of stuff to blow up. So we blew up trees and all sorts of weird stuff with C4 and det cord. And he had these explosives magazines, which are, again, his were Connex boxes. And there was so much in there. It was like an Arnold movie when they opened the arsenal up and there's missiles and stuff on the inside. It's like, what if this were to go off, dude? He's like, if this were to go off, Kyle, they'd come from 3 states away to see what the commotion was about. It was just so much. You can't imagine. Enough a football of C4 would just turn a car into nothingness. But
this little amount,
Connex box full.
Do you think it would be it's not breaking bones or anything on your hip? Is it just taking a chunk of meat out?
Look, I don't know how much. I don't know if you're talking about this much C4. I don't know if you're talking about an ounce of C4.
I don't feel like they can put that much in a pager. I
don't know. I don't know how much they can put in there. It depends, if they made it not quite a pager anymore, if they truly gutted it out and was like, look, we can do everything a pager does in the space of a micro SD card. The rest of it won't be it'll work as a pager for 3 days. But the rest of this volume can all be C4. You'd increase the lethality by quite a lot. But what I read was thousands and thousands of quote unquote casualties, which is injuries, hurties, and 9 deaths right away. So it's going to maim.
That's what I was asking, because like 9 for 3,000 isn't a great.
It's also early on, like you know, it's not going to blow you to smithereens is the thing, but it's going to grievously injure you if it's in your pocket or if it's on your person. It's going to be awful.
Yeah. Scary.
I only buy my pages from online.
Concerned about my Bluetooth butt plug now.
Yeah. What brand is it? Israel's own?
That's a bad dragon, you rookie.
I told that I had one of the guys in the Discord going. I was waiting on him to get my joke. I was like, by the way, if anybody wants any AirPods, got a great deal from my boy Shlomo. I got 2,750 pair of AirPods, $1 a piece. Get them while they're heavy. They're the heavy model.
There's a catch. They're still in Beirut. They need to get shipped.
He's like, where did you get 3,000 AirPods? I just lost mine. Yeah, I need some. My buddy Shlomo sold them to me at a discount. Yeah, sounds like a great connect. So when can I get
marble?
Some?
Shlomo,
you know who it
Jewish men gold. Like you just can't.
It's getting it. Remember our fan who wrote in several times, and he had taken his inheritance and he was blowing it slowly on slowly. He was blowing it rapidly on cookers and cocaine and drugs and travel. He's in our Discord now. So finally, he's making sound financial decisions.
Exactly.
Pop down to $50. Now he's in there. He's getting all sorts of. Dude, they were gambling the other night during the UFC event, which I want to touch on a little bit. Great.
You
UFC
sent me that
event.
picture. That poor lady.
Oh, everything about that night was epic. I watched from 7:30 p.m. till 2 in the morning UFC. But this guy was gambling on. I don't think it was Lithuanian table tennis, but it wasn't far from it. He's gambling on Asian table tennis at like 1 in the morning, and he has. He was up $4,000 or something.
Yeah,
like he was killing
he's down $500,000.
He's down $500,000 on hookers and blow.
Yeah.
His system. He has this system. He's like, look. First of all, table tennis is a very quick reaction game. Always bet on the young guy. That failing, if the young guy goes down by even 1 point early, the bot shifts the odds dramatically, too dramatically. Suddenly, he's a huge underdog, even though he's like the guy, even though because he's down 1 point. So I bet heavy right then. And apparently he's been turning that into a lot of profit. He's earning that inheritance.
People
back.
with like surefire gambling systems, you can tell because they share it for free, and you know they're down a lot. You know,
you guys, hey, I'm letting the people listening right now know if you want part of in on this gambling system, this Lithuanian table tennis or Singaporean table tennis, whatever he's gambling on, you got to get in the Discord, man. He's going to be in there making.
If I was an excellent sports gambler, I don't think I'd mention it ever.
Never.
Like if I had some Excel sheet that I came up with that I entered in whatever stats and it actually worked, like you couldn't pay me to tell you.
No, you never.
They'd figure it out and they'd find ways around it.
That's why all those self-help guys who have a system of anything come to my seminar where I'll tell you how to become a millionaire. It's like, why aren't you becoming 100 millionaire instead of making 100 millionaires? What are you doing? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't make any sense.
Making his money at that conference. Yeah.
The way you become a millionaire is you rip off 100 people a day. Welcome to the Holiday Inn.
Yeah,
we're describing Hustlers University at this point.
So, like the most publicized, and famous examples of their competency would be after Black September at the Munich Olympics. This terrorist group kidnapped several Israeli athletes and tried to sneak them out of Greece onto a plane back to wherever they were from, Syria or I don't know. And there was a huge shootout. All the Israeli hostages died. All the bad guys died. And the country was embarrassed and they wanted revenge. And they sent Mossad into Europe to get it. They wanted anyone who'd had a hand in that attack. And they kept killing. And they killed the guy who would replace the guy. And I'm talking about shootings, bombings, stabbings, every way you can imagine. There's a really good movie about it where you go, they put explosives in this guy's phone, and then they sit outside and they call him, and the phone opens, and he blows himself up with C4. But the movie's called Munich. And then obviously
they also timed sending anonymous flowers and condolence for the person's loss, at the same time, so they would be like, "What are you talking about?" And then would find out later that happened. But like
Damn.
that's like it's also like a movie. It makes it like, and that movie's interesting because they're not fully competent. There's some beef amongst their ideologies, and then there's this crazy scene where they're paired up, like sharing a room with the guys that are their targets, and they're all both groups are like trying to play it cool. Those guys don't know that they're Israeli though, because they're Israeli. They look like 5 different types of people.
Yeah.
And it's just like a crazy scene, and they keep changing the radio. They like can't agree on the radio, 2 of them. Like the Jewish guy goes over and puts on a song, and the Arabic guy goes over and changes it, and then they go and they agree on something. But that's always like Hollywood, you know. And like when I hear about it, like all that stuff, I remember I did like a project on it back in the day. We had to do all these. It was just, we had to base it on a movie and do a project. And like, I actually ended up doing it on, not Munich, something else, but like about the same thing. And, I wonder like, cause that makes it sound really competent, like bombing a phone and sending the thing like flowers to them and hunting them down and sending agents to other countries that speak a different language. And I think about like the level of competency that like it would take to organize some mass crazy event, like to like some world changing event that's like planned and you guys did it, but oh, you goofed up because you were dancing at the scene. It just doesn't seem likely that the level of competency to orchestrate that is also the same level of competence to actually dance and take pictures in front of it. So that's where I'm always like, yeah. Like, so I don't believe that, you know, these guys were Mossad agents there. You know, there's like that whole story is refuted and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just like, it's crazy that people's idea of the competency is to execute something like that, but also be dancing there. And I wonder if it's like, damn, if the CIA, Mossad, and these like organizations that we don't even know about, if their level of competency is super high, then everything that we know and theorize about now is part of the plan. Like everything we're doing now, sometimes I'm just like, everything that's happening now, if there really is like a secret organization, like a secret, like pulling the strings, then this is literally all part of the plan.
Yeah. Or they're probably just a mixed bag. Like there's parts, like some missions go off without a hitch for the CIA, Mossad, whatever, like of the like S tier intelligence agencies, and then other ones like Bay of Pigs or whatever are just, you know, it's the same people. It just doesn't pan out.
Yeah, it seemed like Cuba we really struggled with. Maybe it was because we didn't have agents who could infiltrate, or maybe that everyone was just a true believer down there, like in Castro's regime, because they tried to kill Castro on several occasions. They tried poisoning him. They tried dosing him with LSD prior to a speech so he'd be wacky and lose confidence. They tried poisoning him in a way that would make his beard fall out because that was like his thing. They tried poisoning him and killing him, and they failed every time. And then the Bay of Pigs thing as well, another like huge. And if you look at the Bay of Pigs, but then
his level of competency is like, they're like, "Are you scared?" He's like, "No, I have a son, a secret son, part of my plan. We won't benefit right now, but one day we will benefit. We will invade from the inside."
Dude, I'm so just looking at those pictures. The pictures are all I have to see to be like Trudeau's Castro's kid, 100%. Have you seen what Trudeau's like supposed dad looks like?
I've seen it.
He may as well be Japanese. That's how little they look alike. And then you see like the same nose hump, the same like side silhouette from him and Castro.
What I haven't been following your politics very well. Occasionally, I see that conservative guy, the one who was eating the apple, with the reporter. She's like asking him,
like he's literally pulls all the Trump plays and puts them to work. They're like, "How do you feel about like this or that and this or that?" And he's like eating an apple. They're like, "How do you feel about this or that?" He's like, "Gay question. Next."
Gay question. You're banned. Get him out of here.
He may have been outdoors in like maybe an apple orchard. I don't know where he was, something like that. I don't know.
Apple.
I would hope so. Like,
when are your
he brought an apple.
When are your elections? When does Trudeau have to defend again?
thought it was 2025. I'm not exactly sure.
It's Canadian politics are so funny.
Someone will tell me. You ever see Canadian politics where they're yelling at each other, like in like the House of Commons? There, you ever see those videos?
No,
they're like
yell?
they're like on opposite sides with like someone in the middle, like with a gavel, and they like get turns like roasting each other. like the finance minister was like pointing out. I think she's pointing out Pierre. She was like, "Look at him. He's wearing more makeup than me, and I'm a woman." And everyone's like, "Oh!" on one side, and the other side's like, "Shut up, shut up."
Shut
And
up,
then it goes back to him, and he's like, "No, we're not continuing until she gives me an apology." And he like bangs. He's like, "Apologize." She's like, "I refuse to apologize." And like, it's just, I don't understand how it works.
Wait, I mean, is it October 25th this year, Zach?
October 2025.
Who's to say?
Oh, 2025, October 2025. Okay.
But yeah, it's just crazy. Like Canada's wild.
Yeah, I mean, like, it is funny to think of like the Canadian politicians arguing that vehemently amongst each other. It's like, guys, you're Canada. Like, it's not that serious. Like, it's all right. It's gonna pan out. It's good news coming out of
which
the
actually
city.
Crazy is while we were talking here, so none of this is like, it's all happening literally right now because we're talking about Israel apparently went and bombed 3 places in Iran, which are like the locations of their top nuclear research facilities.
Oh,
yeah,
That's a risky place to bomb, right?
World War III is like that's like if World War III is back on the menu, boys.
so I keep seeing children
have a
on
draft.
Reddit. I keep seeing children on Reddit like joke about how like, yeah, it's World War III this time, right? Dude, it has never been like this before in my lifetime.
Yeah,
Same. This is the most World War III shit going on.
This is ridiculously close. Like if you look at, there's like there's a clear group of Axis powers and a not so cohesive and motivated group of allied powers, and they're all sort of tightening up and ratcheting things up all around the world, whether it's China, Russia, or Iran. And North Korea is always a problem for some reason.
I feel like there's a lot of weight carried, a lot of weight being carried in my mind, a lot of weight carried on U.S. boats. I'm like, those boats are really crazy, right?
Yeah,
like one of those ships can destroy a whole country, right? That's what these things are. The super destroyers or whatever. They're basically like,
are those nuclear submarines?
Yeah, because they go and they like park one in like the Mediterranean, and they're like, no one, not anyone. And then like, I assume.
I don't want a war, though. I don't want a real war.
No, of course. Every country postures so that there isn't a war, and Israel's so the type of country to be like, yeah, but we're going to go bomb that because that's crazy.
They
did that. They did that with Saddam Hussein.
They didn't have to strike back. They didn't have to strike back like that thing.
No, because they defended it so well that it sent the message. It didn't have to have a response.
Dude, I don't know when Israel found out that Iran was going to send those drones and missiles, but I found out 2 days before it happened from Reddit.
It's so crazy.
From Reddit. And they didn't say one of those like murky things like there's the potential for an Iranian strike. And 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, who knows? They were like, this week the Iranians are striking. And they waited to the end
Twitter,
of the
they're
holiday.
Like, here's clips of the drones leaving.
Here's how measured look, I'm not defending Iran, but here's how measured their strike was. It was just to save face with their own people. Clearly, they waited till the moment that the Jewish holidays ended at midnight. And then it was midnight their time. And then they launched nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
99% of it was stopped. Like they said a 7-year-old girl was injured. She's fine. I promise.
I think Iran has like the capability to defend itself from like a on the ground invasion very, very effectively, but I don't think they have the ability to project power across the region.
No, like they knew about that this was coming. They knew that Israel was contemplating targeting their nuclear facilities. But you, Taylor,
now
you bought them stealth bombers.
I bought them stealth bombers. I just sent out a check earlier this week.
All the tax money that you ever spent in your entire life flew one stealth bomber approximately 4 seconds. Yeah, not even.
It was the paint job.
For an eighth of a second.
Not even the paint job. No way the paint job. No.
You paid for that guy's.
Some senator's uncle, his firm got the paint job for $1 million per wing.
Like one Iron Dome rocket is basically all the tax money that like.
Yeah, if not way more. Like it's. Hopefully, this does not actually pop off because a world war would be horrific.
So Iran's going to hit back now, and they promised earlier this week that their next attack would be 100 times more powerful than their first attack, and so now they're going to attack again. Israel just struck Iran and hit 3 nuclear facilities.
Unfolding, so that's what it said. The 3 places in Iran, so everyone's like, "Oh, those are the nuclear facilities there."
I hope Biden pulls some support, right? Because
so Syria and Iran.
What happened is Iran wanted everyone to say let me start over. Iran seemingly wanted everyone to think they attacked Israel. We all knew Iran was attacking. We knew it. The 4 of us all knew that attack was coming. So they launched some attack full of drones that are easily shot down. U.S. shoots them down. Saudi Arabia shoots them down. United Arab Emirates shoots them down. Then obviously Israel shoots them down with the stuff we give them. And nobody's hurt. A couple missiles fall harmlessly in the sand. Biden tells Israel, hey, take the win. Just and let this settle. You don't have to kick back at Iran. Let this relax. They didn't really attack you. They pretended to attack you. And if it had died there, Iran could have taken the win, said, look at these flaccid, try and deal with us. They're not on my level. But no, now they have to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. Who knows where this escalates to? So I know Biden's not running this war, but he has an influence on it. I want Biden to somehow settle this down. And I feel like Israel just gave us the middle finger and said, oh, did you? Because Biden told him, take the win. Look, you won. Take the win. And they're like, I have another idea. I'll kick Iran's ass. And that's where we are.
Yeah, and you'll keep giving us money. And
I don't believe that, though.
I'm listening.
I think all these decisions, I think those 2 countries make decisions together. As much as it looks one way or it's handled one way on the outside, Israel is America's little pet attack dog in that area.
I'm listening.
And it's just it's.
So you don't think Israel? I don't think
America. I don't think America wants Iran to have
more than the relationship based on the history. They do whatever they want, and then we cover it.
But there's an element of it is not really concerning to higher ups these days. That's not a big deal in that sense. It is what it is. I think. I don't think the U.S. wants Iran to have nuclear capabilities. I don't think anyone in office in the U.S. wants Iran to have nukes.
All right, so you've opened my mind. I do see it as feasible that America wants the world to think we didn't want this really.
Yeah, in way back in early 80s, late 70s, they were shopping around the F-16 fighter jets, and they were bringing around the U.S. was it was $25 million, 1979 money. We don't want this. We're not at war. Why would we want $25 million fighter jets? And Israel came in and they're like, yo, we'll take 4 of those. Took them, figured them out, learned them, whatever. They'd exercise it, and within a couple years of getting them, flew them to Iraq and bombed a nuclear facility that was in the midst of being built. And the idea was that this nuclear energy would be able to take that country and elevate it to such a level. And they were just nah, we don't trust them. And they bombed it, and the entire world was like, dude, you're literally trying to start World War III. You can't, once again, it's you can't, it's me defending myself or just beating someone up in a fight or some kid. And my dad grabbing me and be like, what are you doing? We raised you better than that. Give me some skin, brother. Down low. And don't you ever do that again. Grounded. And then getting in the car, closing the door, so you want ice cream? I feel like that's the vibe because that happened to everyone. But then it's the whole like Iraq was all about weapons of mass destruction. We're looking for weapons of mass destruction. The whole thing was like looking for weapons of mass destruction. But imagine they had a nuclear reactor from 20 years ago built. Well, then the whole, I mean, well, you wouldn't be able to. I'm just saying, like that whole nuclear, like you never wanted them to have nukes. And anyone building a nuclear reactor, we all know it's for nukes. And Israel's got secret nukes. They are that type of country.
I don't think Israel had to enrich uranium to get their nukes. I think we mailed them some nuclear weapons that say Acme atomic weapon number 3 made in the USA, and we had.
I think they
didn't make their own.
There were some things, some reports, even like the U.S. went to go inspect. They went to go inspect if there was nukes being made or whatever. They got in the building and there was like whole ass walls built or like that were there. And the guys are like, oh, on the blueprints, there's supposed to be more room here. And they're like, no, that's a wall, dude. You're tripping. But it's like they are hiding nukes for sure.
If Israel was like behaving at all at our behest at this point, or the Biden administration, however you want to put it, like, and it was them doing it in that circuitous way, like the Biden administration would have been like, hey, nothing at all until after November. None of this. None of it at all. We're not going to jeopardize, because a big giant world war is not popular with the voting public. People don't want that. And so we're doing none of this. So it seems like Israel does.
Kamala loses World War III.
It seems like Israel often does whatever they want.
Taylor, what if I said big wars always skyrocket a president's popularity?
I think it depends on the war. Like,
at first it does.
Know. Yeah. I don't think
now we're like at the information time where even like the last war or invasion that U.S. was part of, we look back at like, oh, that was weird.
I feel like America has war fatigue and there isn't a big appetite for it right now. But when I think of all the wars, Iraq 1, Iraq 2, Afghanistan, I'm too young for Vietnam. That's weird. But, all the wars that I've lived through, God, people rally around the flag. They love it. Will it happen
Rock
this time?
Flag Eagle.
It feels like they won't, but they always do.
I don't think people want it. And so it would reflect badly on Biden and his guys if he was telling Israel to do this, which is why I don't think that.
Well, you have two choices. Your government either you believe in your head that they don't want war, or they think it's necessary to take other countries' power away. Like those could lead to the same thing. Like essentially, I don't imagine that a country like Iran, which is like a proxy to enemies of the USA, that they would want them to have and harness the ultimate power on the planet. Like that's the top power.
They don't want them
and that country sucks. Iranian people are. No. The country, the people are fine. The people are different from the government, and that we have to say that all the time. But the current government in Iran, this is the regime that, if you remembered months ago, the young girls out in public not wearing a hijab, so they beat her up, put her in a coma, and she dies in the hospital. This is a regime that routinely kills their youth for revolting or wanting freedom in any shape or form. This is the regime with the morale police that go around and actively, intimidate and scare and beat up and kill women and children for not doing what they're supposed to do as per, the religious doctrine.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are Iran
backwards.
fans.
Yeah,
I love Iran.
but the thing is, it's not the people that are running it.
I'll take that side with you. Let's do it. All right, first I need to figure out what are they all about? What kind of
well, first of all, you should get their name right. It's the Islamic Republic of Iran.
That's true. No, it is. Yeah, that is. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but Islamic Republic as like a prefix over there. That's like the way they put like football club, like in Europe on all their teams. Something FC. It's just
I hope that Harley is right, but I think that everybody's been flying by the seat of their pants since October 7th, and it's this is just all reactionary. And BB is in election year, I think maybe, and he's just going to let heads roll. He doesn't care.
I
He
feel like
feels
he's
like
gonna
now's
do
the
some Trump.
time.
He's gonna
I
do some
gotta
Trump.
think.
Be like, I'm not leaving office until
Maybe.
this war's over.
Do you remember this? It might have been the night of the State of the Union afterwards, where he was like, Netanyahu's going to have a come to Jesus meeting. Like, do you remember that? And it was like a hot mic secret catch. Mm-hmm. Now, either Harley's off target with this, or the hot mic secret catch is all part of the ruse.
I don't think he'd be part of the ruse.
BB's
I would think
he
he's
killed
just
him the
not
first time.
He's like, I feel like this is like, I don't believe anyone that works in politics. I don't believe anyone, and I don't believe we get enough of a picture to make an accurate aspect. So I try and break it down to the most basic thing possible. And I'm like, ultimately, what would be more important to the U.S. than Iran not having nukes? I can't think of anything else that would be more important right now on the brink of World War III that another enemy of the country doesn't harness that power. So I'm just assuming then that's how it is. And I do think Israel for sure has to act out of line. Because if you are the one outpost in the middle of the Middle East that is an ally to the U.S., you kind of understand your
Saudi
leverage.
Arabia.
Let's be honest, they're Jews. You know,
UAE.
you understand. Yeah, but it's not quite like Israel. Israel's literally like
Egypt.
Yeah. We give
like
them
Israel's on the U.S.'s lap. Like they're sitting on their lap.
Jordan.
Chad's
in Africa.
But like these are
Close
like, you know, like think about like
Nobody knows for
Jordan.
sure, Taylor.
I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy when Egypt
How dare
and
you.
Jordan, countries like Egypt and Jordan are like, yeah,
Geo-Nazi.
Israel over Iran. That's bizarre to me.
Yeah, I don't see the value a lot of people in politics seem to with our like undying money giving allegiance to Israel. It's like I don't see what we get out of it as American
I don't
people.
understand why it's so much money.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the U.S. has to spend so much money. But then again, I'm sure if I broke down every aspect of the government, I'd be like, that's a lot of money spent on.
And look
this
at how
and
particularly Republicans respond to Israel issues in America. Like they'll be like, "Hey, Senator Republican from Iowa, 60,000 people in the Midwest died from opioids smuggled in through the south of the border," and they're like, "That's a damn shame. That we got to do something about that." And then they're like, "Hey, this country 3,000 miles away needs money," and they're like, "You'll have to carry me out on my shield before I turn down money to Israel." And it's like, this is unbelievable.
because it's like, you know what? It's beyond personal. It becomes religious at that point, and there's some sort of religious connection being made. Also, it has all the workings
It's
for
Holy Land.
World War III.
Taylor, help me out here. Isn't Christ supposed to come back over there? Like isn't
No.
he supposed to be reborn? No.
No.
Or he
No,
comes
there-
back. He's coming to America.
There are some evangelicals
He's coming to
who believe
America.
that. But that comes down to like biblical interpretation.
Well,
Like,
I wasn't asking for your personal opinion.
No, I'm saying like it comes down to biblical interpretation. If you're like
Definitely not.
no man will know the day or the hour. But like traditionally,
I
up
can
until,
tell if
like,
he's here though. If the Sixers win, my prayers came true. So
Yep, that's how you'll know. But like up in like traditionally, like Israel, as it's referenced in the Bible, is like that. Those are people who are saved. That's the church. Like it's referring to Israel in that way. It's relatively recent amongst particularly evangelical Christians, like a lot of these megachurch guys, you know, in the past, 80, 100 years.
Zechariah 14:4 states, "On that day, his feet will stand on the mountain of olives east of Jerusalem, and the mountain of olives will be split in two."
Yeah.
Let's find that mountain
not
real quick.
coming back. Hold on.
That mountain of olives.
What I'm addressing is like this idea that a lot of evangelical Christians have that like Israel as a country as it exists geopolitically in 2024 is like a war there is going to trigger the end times.
Oh,
Like, and that is what historically Christianity did not believe this. Like Israel as it's referenced there in the Bible is like, that's the church. Those are the followers of Christ, the people.
I didn't see him in the
of
picture,
Israel.
so we're probably good for now.
Taylor,
Yeah, I didn't see him there either.
I didn't understand what you were saying. That historically, evangelicals said they're going to come back to Israel, right?
I'm saying that like in the past 150 years, like
Okay.
evangelicals, Christians in particular, have like formed a belief that Israel is a plot of land in the Middle East, and that is like penultimately what it is. It's not the way in the Bible Israel is used to refer to followers of Christ, like the way that God said, Jesus said, like the church isn't a place you go. The church is you, the people, my followers, my believers. That is the church. Similarly with Israel, he meant like my followers. Like that's what it was. Not this one plot of land in the Middle East. Something's going to kick off there specifically, and then that will be the undoing of all.
I understood that Zechariah passage to mean that Christ will come back on the Mountain of Olives through some sort
he'll
of
make some stops. He'll make some stops.
Well,
yeah,
he's
gonna pop around.
That's also
he's a little like Santa Claus. He visits everybody.
Yeah,
but the spot where Jesus was crucified is there too, though. It's on another little hill in Jerusalem.
Yeah, I don't agree with the interpretation. I'm saying that the geopolitical existence of Israel as a state in 2024 is this crux of, and they're standing with Iran has to do with the end times. But if you look at a lot of evangelicals in particular, that's their belief. They think, when something kicks off in this country, end times begin. Well, and there are some people who are like actively rooting for that.
Well, of course, you want the Lord to come back and save you, right? You don't want to sit down there in purgatory waiting to go to heaven. Nobody's in heaven. We talk about that a lot, but nobody's there yet. There's like a handful of famous people in the Bible. They got like a
Moses. Moses is up there. Abraham's up there.
Who took the fiery chariot?
My grandmother, I think.
No, she's in the ground. She's in the ground in purgatory. Like all souls.
It's not until the end times that they'll be raptured to heaven.
I don't see this news anywhere.
Elijah is who went up to heaven in a fiery chariot.
Yeah, they attacked apparently on the way to Iran.
He gets a special
Syria line in Iraq.
He's in the fucking. He's in the
rabbi.
He hits that Star of David on his phone and immediately gets the up to date.
And I'm like, hello, patch me through to the tunnels.
Patch me through to the tunnels. Careful, the Gentiles are getting too close. They're gonna figure out what we're up to down here.
I wish they hadn't done it. I know I might be wrong.
Of course, no, me too. Like they blocked, they swatted away all the flies. That there was no other message that had to be sent.
And they told them they were doing it.
They must have. They did. They told them.
Such an open secret. Everybody knew.
But no. But Iran also knew after that Israel was going to target their nuclear. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, so is this a thing where it's like you bait them into? Like, are they baited into anything?
Iran's going to strike again. I bet they sink a boat or something. Like they seem to be more adept at sinking commercial stuff and pirating commercial stuff than like striking Israel proper. But they're going to do something big and scary. They said they would. They can't not now. It's like the playground all over again. Like Billy spit on Tommy. Tommy said if Billy spit on him, he's going to kick his ass, and he spit all over him over there. Here it comes.
I see it more like, I forgot the players' names, but Billy said he was going to spit on Tommy, completely missed him, yet Tommy still feels compelled to have a big fight because he can't take a win.
Yeah. It was just a little spittle.
He missed. We deflected it.
No one even got wet.
There was wind or something. It was wind. It didn't get him. He missed entirely. He could just be like, yeah, you know what? He failed to spit on me. We're going to let it end there. They could have.
I can't imagine how off it is to be in Gaza right now. Like that's just. I'm glad we're here. My dad used to always say that. And probably still does, I guess. But he's like we'd be out on like a bright sunny day. He's like, so glad we're here. So happy that we're here and not like in Iraq or Afghanistan fighting for nonsense. So this week, quietly. President Biden agreed to sell Israel a new package of arms, or give them. It's hard to tell. It's murky waters with arms deals. You know how it is. But it seemed like maybe fighter jets and bombs. But just to put it plainly, fighter jets and bombs because they're running low. I don't know what's been going on, but the same day, there's like an aid group over there that's just there to feed people. And if you look at the biographies of the people who are in this aid group, man, they seem like great people. You know what I mean? Like each of them seems they're not that Chinese astronaut good, but like close. Yeah, they're accomplished, well-meaning, just there to feed people. Like they're not flying a flag, okay? And they gave their position to the Israelis, and the Israelis pinpoint precision bombed them with 3 precision-guided munitions and killed 7 of them.
So what I'm hearing is Israel got intel that there were some military-aged men in Hamas-occupied territory, and they neutralized him. What's the problem?
They on the roof of the they
That's
sent
probably
a
what they're
missile.
saying.
They sent a missile through the roof. Zach, show them the roof of the car. They sent a missile through the roof of the car. The roof even says like, I don't know, feed the hungry or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
it's got their emblem on it, which is like the "Don't bomb us" emblem.
Yeah,
You
this
can
isn't
see
one of those
the drone.
situations.
Was it a
where,
bullseye? Did they have a bullseye on the top of their car?
dude? If they were going for the driver, then cowabunga, dude. Like, goddamn. And you know.
Cowabunga, dude. I haven't heard that since like 96.
Oh, I'm bringing it back. That,
all right, here it is.
We're gonna bring back all the Bart Simpson colloquialisms.
Don't have a cow, man. Okay.
Yeah, but you can see right there that it says "Feed the World Kitchen" or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is
it did.
a known Hamas cover.
I disagree, Taylor. I can't read that.
Yeah, you can infer what was there pretty well. They got a pan with it.
And you know that bomb
Like
said USA on the side too. That's
we paid for that.
Yeah, we did. We financed that right there. You know,
we paid for the food they were handing out and for the bomb that killed them.
I don't know who pays for the food that they hand
like
out.
It's a tragedy. Look how happy that guy looks. He's doing okay.
No, that guy's bummed. They just killed the food truck.
I really wish he was wearing
I heard there's a bunch of food
World
in here.
Series jersey or something.
What's the? I mean, I feel foolish even asking. Like, what's
the recompense?
What's the fallout of this going to be? Nothing at all. Biden will continue to give them everything they want.
Biden had a very strongly worded.
He will give them whatever they want.
Biden had a phone call with Netanyahu today. The results of that were there was a press conference right before we started, so I didn't get to watch it. But I don't know. Probably not much.
Netanyahu assured him that he would finish the job.
Yeah. We've targeted 15 other food trucks in the region.
I know I'm making jokes.
I'll be a part of
comedic devil's advocate, but I'm not a fan of this.
Taylor, freedom don't come free, as they say.
Mm-hmm. You should write that down. Jot that down, huh?
You should.
Jot that. I have a shirt that says it.
You have a shirt that says "Freedom isn't free" with a bombed out foreign aid truck.
No, it says "Freedom don't come free," and it's got George W. on it. I like
that.
Yeah,
using the president's grammar.
I miss the poor grammar. We of Bush when you see like Trump ramble or Biden get lost and confused. It's like, man, Bush was coherent at least. He was just misspeaking. He knew what he wanted to say. He just couldn't get it out. These guys, I don't even know if they know what they want to say.